so that Lagos can actually breathe. The overpopulation in Lagos is because of the docility and inefficiency of the other governors in Nigeria that are not doing anything to better the lives of the Nigerians. And that's why everybody is trooping to Lagos. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, Mo, you say you want to ask a question? Then we'll go to Tinubu back.
Okay, person not come up for you now.
Okay. Let's have Tinubu. Tinubu, please go ahead.
Tinubu is next.
Let's have Tinubu. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, interesting conversation so far, and I agree with like the Keneke and some of the speakers who spoke about like the direction of the current Tinubu's economy. I want to say that Nigeria is like a plane without a pilot. So was the administration. The current administration is like a plane without a pilot. So was also the administration before it. Because you see, the president is old. He's tired. Sometimes he's not quite all right up there. And some days he's there. Like someone said, he doesn't know anything. The only thing he knows how to do is machinations and playing politics. But he doesn't know any, he's not well educated. So he cannot really take us where we need to be. If we don't change him, if you like, talk from today till tomorrow, till forever, you'll be so surprised at where we'll end up. You think things can get bad or things can get worse. It would get worse because when Buhari was there, we were managing and patching up. Every other week he's in London, they are patching him up and carrying him like when something is already dead and you're like propping it up, you're like, oh, put your hand like this, put your nose like this. That's the same thing they are doing to Tinubu, hiding him in Aso Rock and treating Aso Rock like a retirement home. Today he's in Nigeria, tomorrow he's in France, like the same situation. So I don't know where the magic or the miracle is going to happen from, because and the APC people will tell you, oh, you have to go through pain, you have to suffer. You end up suffering for nothing because, number one, they are not reliable. You can't trust them because everything to them is like propaganda. Don't even when you are dying, don't talk about it. Don't speak about it. Don't speak bad about it. What are you doing about it? Like what are you going to do about it? Where the people who are entrusted to do something about it don't actually see like they owe you a responsibility to like actually govern. They collect salaries, but they don't do their jobs. It's like, if you don't know what to do, why did you even grab the power to begin with? Why did you even go there? Like, what are you doing? You want to be president, but you are absent. People die. You don't visit. You don't release statements. You don't even interact with people, and you are president. Like, I don't know the only places we see things like that is in like complete dictatorship. Even Putin do talk to his people, but like the typical African dictator is like whatever goes. Like the whole thing, the whole charity only begins from my own home and ends there. Like there's no electricity in Nigeria, but I think I deserve solar energy because, oh, this electricity bill is too high. Let's go for solar energy and earmark 10 billion. Meanwhile, the public hospitals don't have electricity and sometimes they do operation, there's no electricity. So it just tells you there's not, like, you could look at it from just this angle. Like charity only begins in his own home and ends there. Like he deserves the best transportation and the best cars. And look at that that one that calls himself FCT minister driving in Rolls Royce. Meanwhile, primary school teachers are protesting. It's only in Nigeria you see ministers, political appointees living large. Meanwhile, their counterparts in Europe and America, who born you? Like, how dare you? Like, how? From where would you buy a Rolls Royce or drive in the latest car and you can't explain where that money came from? How much is Wike's current salary and how can he afford those things? But this is a government that the president is not even there upstairs. So which energy does he even have to fix corruption in Nigeria or fix insecurity? So if you people like, bring him again, prop him up like the dead body and tell him, put your hand like this, do like this. When they ask him questions, he relegates it to other people. Prop the dead man up again and let him continue ruining our lives. And then you say it's a government. This is not a government. The plane has no pilot. It's just flying, and the people propping it up are the ones that just want to benefit from it. And that's it. Yeah, I have nothing more to say.
Okay, Mo, please go ahead. That will have TBO.
Wait, Mazi, why you know they allow people can't talk on the subject? Why do you just allow them parabolate and just come and talk nonsense?
Hey, propaganda specialist, shut up your mouth. Low level propaganda ho. Doggy ho. Propaganda ho. Shut up.
When you're speaking, it did not interject you. Impulse control. When you're speaking, it did not interject you. Thank you.
People just come here, they just come, talk absolute balderdash, and think because you can string some couple of English words together, you've actually made sense, right? I wish Kenike was here, though. I would have actually loved to engage him, but Kenike has gone, so I would disregard everything that he said. But when I spoke earlier, in the afternoon, I said, or let me even piggyback on what Kenike said. A lot of I said it was hard for you to sell the reforms of the government when the government was living ostentatiously, right? Private jets, yachts, all these things that you want to mention, right? It will be hard for you to sell the policies with all these things. But when people mention all these things, or when they talk about these things, they only say them because they feel that if the government did not do it or did not do those things, it would be good for the optics. Not that if the government did not spend the money, it will be the effect, you will not feel the effect of the policies, right? So the only thing is, if Tinubu did not buy a private jet of 150 billion naira, it would not show that, or it will show that he's feeling the same pain with us, or he's not spending what he's meant to spend. It is not that because the policies are bad. Nobody, since we have been speaking on this space, they have been on your space since 8 a.m. Mazi, not a single person, not a single soul has come here to say that the policies are bad. So, to the best of my knowledge, everybody has come here to agree that the policies are good. But the government is not living the way we expect them to live, right? Because if you ask anybody here, or majority of the people that have spoken here, maybe except for some persons that supported Showore, everybody agrees that subsidy had to go. Everybody agreed that there had to be unification of exchange rates. Everybody agreed that the electricity tariff, electricity subsidy was no longer sustainable. This was what everybody campaigned on. This was what every every candidate mentioned in their manifesto. So when they were making these things, was there any expectation that the result would have been different? You can come here and tell us, Obi would not have bought private jets, Obi would not have done this. You can come here and say that. But you will not come here and tell me that Obi would not have removed subsidy, that Obi would not have removed, would not have unified the exchange rate. You will not come here to tell us that. And even if Obi does not buy private jets, but he removes fuel subsidy and he does the unification of the exchange rate, and he even goes ahead to say, listen, at this particular rate, we are not going to be defending the Naira again, because he said he was not going to defend the Naira again. You would have the same thing. But for the optics, I agree. For the optics, if Tinubu does not buy a private jet, if Tinubu did not spend 29 billion on, or if Wike, not because it wasn't Tinubu that spent the money, it was Wike that spent the money on this thing. If Wike did not do that, right, maybe it would have looked good on the outside.
But Mo, can I ask you something on this optics? Sorry, I know that it's not my top, but can I ask you something on this optics?
Ask away.
Okay, so on this issue of jets, for example, I do not like it. I do not support it. But we want to see a cut in the cost of governance. Why is everybody quiet, or why don't we talk about the fact that before the jet was bought, three of the jets in the presidential fleet were sold? Does that count for anything?
CBU, see, uh, you and I, we have our, what's it called? We have ways, or we have our views of the presidency, right? How the thing goes. We know that optics, for us, optics is not really what matters. Optics is not what counts, but what will actually affect the lives of the people. People like the optics just for the glamour it holds, not for the effect. Because people come here and tell us we need to cut the cost of governance. We need to cut the cost of governance. But if we look at the budget and look at the money that was allocated for the executive, you will know that that is not what is bloating the cost of governance. What is actually bloating the cost of governance is the amount of MDAs, the amount of people, the amount of overhead we have in our MDAs. And if we go the Javier Milei style, you will make people redundant. So, how many Nigerians will come and tell you that the government needs to sack people? How many Nigerians would even support you when you want to sack people? So sometimes we look at these things for the optics, the optics is good, but what is the effect? Does Tinubu not having a private jet, what does it add to you? Put at 1,000 naira. If you put 150 billion naira at 1,000 naira, that is $150 million. It is not enough to intervene in anything. The last money that the CBN sold in the what's it called, in the to the Bureau de Change, to those people, was 200 million naira, $200 million. So this is not the money that can effect any change anywhere. But our people like, this I suffer, you suffer story, I enjoy, you enjoy story. We like it. And like I said, it is hard to sell these things to people when the presidency is doing that thing. And I agree, for the optics, let it be that way. But me, I know that the optics doesn't make any sense because it doesn't move the needle. But our people enjoy the optics. But we need to come to the realization that is it that we agree that these policies are actually for the good? Because earlier when I gave my submission earlier in the afternoon, I said something. Nigeria as a legal entity exists. It has a financial record. So if you look at the financial, if you were President Bola Tinubu when you came in May 29, 2023, and you saw the financial record of Nigeria as a legal entity, would you have continued that way that it was going, where you were using close to like 97% of your earnings as debt service payment? You would not have continued that way. You need some level of fiscal maneuverability for you to do the things that you want to do. And over time, if we look at our budget, we know that subsidy payment was one of the things that was taking the chunk of our earnings, of our spending. You also know that we are actually taking money to keep the exchange rate at a particular rate that it was. So if these were the encumbrances, we had done this thing for over 40 years. If these were the encumbrances that you were getting because you had done particular policies for over 40 years, but the difference is that the revenues that you're getting now does not accommodate this spending that you want to do. You want to spend on education, you want to spend on health, you want to spend on agriculture. But then because you are stuck with this policy of keeping subsidies, meanwhile you don't have the revenues to do it, what would you do? It is just commonsensical. If you were earning £3,000 before and your earnings reduced to like 2,000, the first thing you do is to cut your expenses. And it is not just to cut your it is not like saying you're subscribing for Netflix of £7 or let's say £5, but then you're eating a KFC of £34. You're not saying that you want to cut Netflix. Meanwhile, you have a KFC that is taking you £34 every week. Meanwhile, Netflix is taking you 7 months. You not say for the optics, I don't want to have Netflix, but then you're still buying KFC £34 every month. You are eating out. So doing things for the optics, yes, it resonates with the people. But then what is the effect? Does that move the needle? So if we look at Nigeria as a legal entity and say, can we continue this way? 2015 to 2023, everything that Buhari did, Buhari as a socialist who believes that things should be done for the downtrodden, despite the fact that he did not have the funds that previous president had, he still tried to continue to provide these things at reduced rates. That even pushed him to look for to use quantitative easing to provide for all these things. And despite everything that this man did, i- imagine today people are now calling for anchors borrowers. The same anchors borrowers that people said was bad at the time Buhari was there. They are not calling back for it. But because it was quantitative easing that Buhari was using to do anchors borrower, the ripple effect of that is that you were pushing so much money into the economy, money that was off the back of quantitative easing. You're not actually solving the problem of the long-term problem of agriculture, because we had things that were dollar denominated, but we're using quantitative easing of using of naira to do those things. So it wasn't like you're getting loans from China, you're paying maybe a John Deere to import tractors to give you farm needs and stuff like that. We're not doing that. We're just giving people money. They could go to farms, they could employ more hands. So we're actually pumping money in naira terms. But meanwhile, to solve the problem long termish, would have needed things that were denominated in dollar term, right? So things like tractors, things like that, we did not have them. But all of these things that Buhari did, all of these things that the man did, people are now coming back to tell us that that is the way to go. And I said in the afternoon, there is no way that you tell us that Buhari's handling of the economy, that the same way that Jonathan did it, that Buhari continued it. Buhari even went a step further to protect the local farmers by giving them funds, which Jonathan did not do, by the way, right? All the subsidies we enjoyed, and people came out to say Buhari did these things in a poor way. And Tinubu now came, he did an about face and said, because of the fiscal maneuverability that we do not have, let us go the other way. You cannot say Buhari was doing wrong and Tinubu is also doing wrong. There has to be something that one of them did right. So if you say we need to continue with the subsidies, then the question should now be, if we want to continue with the subsidies, how do we fund these subsidies without revenue? Because anybody can come here and tell us Germany is subsidizing particular thing. What is Germany's revenue? Can Germany's revenue, can it fund it? This particular lifestyle that they're living, can yours fund it? You cannot say because your neighbor drives a Mitsubishi Outlander of 2024, you have to go and buy the same thing. Your insurance levels are, if your salary is not commensurate with that vehicle that you bought, your insurance will price you out of the waters. So we really need to be careful about what's it called. And if you look at every economic policy from the lens of politics, you would lose the essence of it. The easiest thing that any president could have done was to just continue paying subsidy. Why? Who doesn't want dollar at 400? Just keep on borrowing money. Speak to your creditors. Keep on borrowing money from anywhere. Just let us enjoy what we were enjoying before. Keep dollar at 400. Keep petrol at 250. Everybody enjoys. You pile on the debt and you go away. But that is not a sustainable model. It is not a sustainable model, because at that point we were suppressing prices. Everybody was just doing things based on artificial figures. Now, irrespective of the level of production in your economy, whether you produced enough, whether you did not produce enough, your dollar must be at a particular rate. It is not a function of the amount of export that you are doing. So you are just keeping it at an artificial figure because you can always borrow money to keep it at that point. That is not a sustainable model. Now we are seeing results of non-oil exports that are coming in. For the first quarter of the year, you have a $1.7 billion in first quarter of the year, and it was fueled by cocoa. Actually, took 45% of of the non-oil exports. We are seeing these things. You are seeing companies, they are declaring profit. Are you telling me that these companies are declaring profit? Who is patronizing them? It is Nigerians that are patronizing them. Who are their employees? Nigerians are their employees. So who is getting the revenue? The government is getting the revenue. and it is being shared to states. Look at states. They were before 2023, May 2023, May 29, 2023. For my state in Osun State, we were getting 3.8 billion naira. But now we are getting over 11 billion naira. I'm not even asking you to go and hold your governors accountable. That is not what I'm saying here. I'm saying look at the benefits of these things. So if you can praise your governor, yeah, my governor is doing road. Last week we saw reports of how these states, how they have reduced their domestic debt. Some people were doing 76% reduction in their domestic debt. None of them has even taken any, loans. Last year budget, 2024 budget, Abia State said they were going to take 85% of their budget as loans. I don't think they did maybe 10% of the amount they thought they were going to get in loans. But they were still able to do projects. So if your projection was that you were going to take 85% of your budget as loans, and you did not take that loan, but you're able to do projects, it means that you have the fiscal room to do these things that you wanted to do. So this is not me praising the government. I'm saying this is the necessity of the policies that are actually being done by the government. And if you are hailing your state governor, I don't think because he's paying salaries, he's doing all these things, you can't be cursing the person that made it available, the person that made it, that made the resources available for your state governor to spend, that you are praising him. The reforms are hard. People are suffering. This is undeniable, right? Anybody that comes to deny it is either being foolish. Things are hard. But it is a smart pain. Nobody wants to commit political suicide. Everybody wants easy re-election. But if you think about the next election, you are not a good leader. You're only a good president. You are not a good leader. You're not living a financial framework that people can actually rely on. It is a smart pain. Things are hard. Things are expected to get better, but it is a smart pain. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Mo. Thank you. CBO.
Please, can I ask a question, please?
Okay. Is it freedom? Freedom.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
All right. Mr. Mo, good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. According to you, the government need to stop subsidizing some of the lifestyle and funding the lifestyle some of Nigerians are living. Please, in what aspect has that impacted in the life of Nigerians or the economy since the Nigerian government stopped subsidizing those lifestyle, please? Thank you. What's the effect of those the subsidy that was removed? What's the effect in the economy?
Were you
Okay.
listening to him at all? Did he not just say? Did he not? Ah, God.
I didn't talk to you. Your name is not Mo, please.
Allow Mo to respond now. Wow.
What freedom? Thank you. What state are you from, please?
It doesn't matter. Let's say I'm a Nigerian. It doesn't matter what state I'm from.
There's a reason why I asked.
There's no need for that, please. I'm talking about Nigerian economy in general. I'm not talking about a state economy.
No, I want to find a particular data, but it is dependent on if you tell me your state. Right, I want to find a particular data, but it is dependent on if you tell me your state of origin. It is not to slide you or anything.
I was expecting you to kind of give me a straight answer and say this was the impact of removing subsidy in Nigeria economy in general.
What has your governor done with the triple allocation, the removal of the subsidy? What has your useless governor done with the allocation? That is the
Who is
question
the
I
mad
want to ask
person
you.
asking what the governor
What
has
has
done?
your useless state
Keep
governor done with the
quiet. Let
allocation
him answer
of
the question.
the post-subsidy removal fund?
Mad
What has your
people.
useless state governor done with it?
Basharon, please wait. Freedom.
Can I ask a question?
Wait now, please. Before
It's limitless.
Limitless.
Let me ask a question, please.
Limitless, please hold on. I just want Freedom to answer me quickly. Freedom, see,
You
this
guys
is
are
not
going back and forth now. You don't want to answer his question. Just answer his
I want
question.
Let him answer. Let him answer. Limit.
Freedom. There's a reason, like I said, it is not to sly you, it is not to sly your governor. I want to pull up a particular data. That is the only
We are
reason.
talking about Tinubu now. Answer question regarding Tinubu and economy. Which one is
Why are
governor?
you?
Ask question. Let me ask my question.
If it is, see, it is not compulsory answer. You are not my teacher that I need to answer your question. So let me answer the person. There's a reason why I asked. There's a reason why I asked. He can mention any state. It doesn't even have to be a state. So what the data I want to pull out is to look at May 2023, how much the governor of the state was earning and how much he's earning now. Right? So we can compare. You're asking for the benefits. One of the benefits is that the allocation to your state has tripled.
Could it be because of dollar has increased in price?
What do you mean dollars increased in price?
Dollar to the naira has increased, basically.
So
So I don't understand.
okay.
What caused the allocation to triple in naira? Have you
Because
looked at it vis-a-vis the amount it was in dollar last 2 years and what it was now in dollar?
no, because we
What
are
caused
taking
it to triple in
limited
naira?
because we are
Have you
taking some.
factored in inflation and
Wait
cost of
now,
stuff?
wait
Or you
now.
just say, oh, naira 33 billion last year, 22 billion this year. What was it in dollar? You have to factor in inflation. You have to factor in the naira to the dollar ratio. You don't just make a blanket statement and just say that's a win, because that's not true, right?
Let
This
me,
person talking
Abija,
about dollar, I can bet my life he has never seen a dollar note in his entire life.
It's not by dollar
Just
He
notes,
has
matter.
Baba.
never seen a
Just
dollar
matter.
Baba,
note in
it's
his
not by
entire,
dollar
but you
notes.
can
Just
see him, you
matter.
can see the
Your
Now,
you can
revenue,
see
your
the reason,
revenue,
you can
your
see the way
revenue is
this mob,
calculated
these
in dollar.
barbarians
Ekuke,
That's
reason.
stop
our animal.
You
There's
see,
screaming.
an
no,
idiot is in
there's
This
no
is
Nigeria
not
is
your
talking
network
about
village.
dollar,
issue.
and he has
Let's
never
have
seen
How is
peace.
dollar
there
note in his
issue that?
life.
Basharu, mute your
Ekuke.
mic.
Please,
Mute your mic.
please, Tinubu, whatever. Shut.
Basharu,
If
mute
you don't
your
want to
mic.
be unfortunate, don't engage me.
Basharu, mute
If
your
God
mic.
will not
Don't.
punish
If
you
you
and
don't
break
want to
your
be
neck, it's better
unfortunate,
that I
you
will fall
this
under your
prostitute, do
stupid
not
head.
engage
Please.
me.
Okay, guys. Okay. May allow Mo to use 1 minute to respond to that question. Limit, allow him to respond to that question. So we can go to CBO. Then you have your time to speak. It's not that too much. You people are stressing my life. I've been here since morning. I don't want to shout again. Eh? I beg. So Mo, please respond to that question 1 minute.
see, it is easy to say it is because the amount of dollar to naira. So what is the bulk of our revenue? You see, when the federal government shares allocation, they tell you the source of the revenue. They tell you levies from what's it called? The bank levies and what have you. They tell you VAT, they tell you everything. Majority of these earnings are earned in naira. They are ending these earnings. Anytime they share FAC allocation, go and check the composition of FAC, and they tell you the composition. So all these monies that we are the FIRS, you see FIRS meeting targets, surpassing their targets. You are not telling me it is because of the naira, the dollar composition of it. What about the encumbrances that have been taken away from our spendings that the government is now earning more revenue to be able to share? So if you are earning more but you are spending more, would you have the money to share? How can you pick one element of your earnings? You are earning from 5 different streams or 6 different streams. You're not telling us that it is just one big thing, whereas all the revenue generating agencies are surpassing their targets. You see, FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service, all of them, they are getting their money, they are surpassing their target. Custom is surpassing his targets. The banks are remitting, everybody's remitting, you are getting your VAT. But you're telling me it is because of the dollar. Are you paying your VAT in naira, in dollars? Is FIRS collecting money for you in dollars? Is custom collecting money, is all its revenue in dollars?
Subsidy. How much subsidy is he paid in naira or dollar?
Subsidy is paid in dollars now, but it was removed. Are you still paying for subsidies? What is this nonsense question now? Don't you people have any understanding? Jesus Christ said, I have many things to explain to you, but you are yet without understanding. You have taken away subsidy. What has subsidy got with your what has it got to do with your revenue?
He asked you a very simple question. How has the removal of subsidy
They are
affected
headless
the
mob. There's
Nigeria?
a
Very
reason why they
simple
are mob that
question.
cannot reason.
Very
Stop
simple
wasting your
question.
time, Mo. They
This
are
Basharu,
barbarian
mute
mob
your
that
mic.
cannot
You're an
reason.
animal.
Stop wasting your time
Mute your
on them.
mic.
So wait,
They are
you are saying,
mobs. They can't reason.
wait, Bashar, hold on. You're saying because subsidy is paid in dollars, it means it is that dollar that we are earning. You have to earn the money before you pay it now. Do you spend money before you earn it?
Mo, please, can I ask one more question, please?
Go ahead.
Our mineral resources, like they said, the crude oil,
Mhm.
is it being exported in naira? The transaction is it being done in
Of
naira
course
or
not. It's
in
not.
dollars?
No, of course not.
So, and if someone tells you that the reason why the location increased is because of the inflation, the dollar rate, and all that,
Mhm.
and you doubt, like to you, is a lie. Like
No, I
it's not
did.
part of it.
Listen, I did not say it's a lie. I told you that every time that FAC is shared, go and look at the component of FAC.
Okay,
Every
what is the
single.
oil component of FAC? What is the component
I've
for
told
our
you.
revenues from oil? What is it? Since you're looking at it, what is it basically?
I've told
Vis-a-vis
you.
other components, what is the percentage?
No, are you coming to learn here or you're coming to debate it?
I'm asking you a question now. Just tell us what's the
Okay,
percentage. You that have
okay,
looked at
more,
it.
okay, more. Oh, okay, let me take that one as number one answer. Thank you very much. You said the allocation increased. Okay, thank you. What other thing is the benefit of it to the citizen? This whole
Have you heard of what is called Nel
re-
Fund?
re- what?
Nel Fund.
Is that a loan or is that a grant? No fund.
It is a loan.
I'm actually talking about helping citizens, like the life of ordinary citizens, like
Oh, so
So
common man
citizens are
in the
not
citizens will
street.
ordinary
have to
citizens.
pay back, Abi.
Of course.
So
But that's not
then I don't
helping
understand.
citizens. Like
Oh,
the
but
price,
if
it
government.
doesn't reduce the price
Okay,
of
wait.
foodstuffs in the
Okay,
market
wait,
or
wait, wait,
livelihood of people.
wait. So if government give business people loans, is it helping business people or not?
They have been giving loans before the removal of subsidy.
Wait, now the question
So
I asked
what
you
is
is
the point
if
of the
government
loan?
gives business people loans, is it helping
But
them
they've
Don't
been
or not?
giving
worry,
those
just
loans
give
out.
them
They've been
money.
giving
Dash
loans out.
everybody money. Let them be enjoying. That's what is called good governance. Dash everybody.
Let's just move on. More, you cannot convince these people. Honestly, you cannot convince these people. Their mind is made up, right? It's very, very difficult for you to be able to agree or disagree on what. You are not asking um government giving people loan, is it helping people? Like if I come here and ask for a loan and you people get me loan, is it not a help? It's not a help. Removing the fact that I'm going to pay back later. It's not a help. Net fund is going to help students that do not have money to go to school, and they say it's not a help. Come on now, we should be factual on what we are saying and be truthful for a once. Ah, now what for now? Ah, Mo, calm down, go drink water. These people go stress your life, tire. Although you know them now. Let's have CBO, I beg. Let's have CBO.
So, good evening, good afternoon to everybody. It's been an interesting conversation. I think this is probably the first time you hear my voice on this space today. I have listened, and there were so many things to say, but more just this conversation between Mo and Freedom just summarized these whole spaces that we host and these whole spaces that we attend. People have their views, and it is very, very difficult to convince people on the things that they want to believe. I listened to Odunayo call my name, insult me, say different things, even without me saying a word to him. I laughed. I chatted somebody in the DM and I said, listen to what this dude is saying. And I laughed it off. It's also funny how people like Mr. Freedom, I'm sorry, and this is not an insult. It's also funny how you don't realize that it is the numbers from the states that make up whatever numbers you see in the federal government. So if you come out and you say today that Nigerians are poor, if you break it down, you see that it is a function of the numbers of people that are poor in every state in Nigeria. So if you do not understand that the basic problems that we have generally lie more in the states, then you do not know what you're talking about. I listened to Tobechukwu talk about medical doctors, living, and everything. And I laughed. Tobechukwu even wanted to bring in Peter Obi into the conversation. And what made me laugh was, while he was talking, he talked about how much the federal government has failed. That's the reason why medical doctors are leaving. And he's from Anambra State, but he failed to tell us that when Obi was governor for one and almost 14
Propaganda.
months.
You don't start.
Please,
That's a lie.
Madam, can you just shut up? I wasn't talking to you.
No, I will not allow it. You're lying.
That is when I'm going to drop you now. Be
my guest. I will not sit down here and be fed nonsense. Be my guest. Drop me. Rubbish.
Goodbye, foolish idiot. So go ahead.
Tobechukwu sat down and spoke so glowingly about how he was worried that doctors are leaving and everything. Tobechukwu is here, but Tobechukwu forgot to tell us that while he was governor for 1 year plus, 13 good months, doctors were on strike. Now, it's also good to understand that while those doctors were on strike and not going to work, doctors, as at the same time, in a state called Ondo State, a governor called Olusegun Mimiko was operating what they call mother and child. It is still in existence today. Catering for mothers and children. It was so good for them in that state that students had school buses that were taking them to school for free at that time. He built cottage hospitals. Those are sustainable development plans. And guess what happened to Tobechukwu? Many doctors, I can say this because I know several of them, migrated from Anambra and went to Ondo State. Many. If you think it's a lie, go and see and ask yourself, how come there's a large population of doctors from Anambra State in Ondo State till today? And that was simply because of that 1.5 year, almost 13 months. But I'm not here to talk politics with you. When the time for politics comes, we will talk politics. You saw all the negative news. FCT, students, primary school, they were on strike, but you failed to also realize that same day, that same news told you that there was an intervention for medical doctors, medical students in 18 universities of over 180 billion. That same day, it is on the Minister of Education's tweet. The same day, the same time. So it's okay to just sit down and pick out all the negatives. If that will make you happy, Tobechukwu, keep it up. Now to the main topic. A few months ago, when many corporates were losing money, basically mainly due to the FX losses, many of the corporates, Cadbury, Guinness, Nigerian breweries, we were here shouting, Tinubu has killed the Nigerian economy. Companies are leaving. Companies are making losses. And we were talking. And we said, oh, Tinubu does not know what he's doing. It's a failed economy. Now today, I have not seen any bank in Nigeria that has not posted profits. I've not seen the manufacturing companies. Their Q1 numbers are amazing. Nestle just posted.
You are talking my point too.
Nestle just posted. Unilever, Bua, Dangote, Lafarge. All the corporates in Nigeria seem to be on a right trajectory. Does it mean that they are making money? Does it mean that the economy is now stable? No. But their numbers are smelling in the same direction. Every sector. Okomu Oil, that make palm oil. Everybody seems to be on one trajectory. Are these people employing foreigners? And look at the footnotes. What is making Guinness, for example? Things were so bad that they had to sell Guinness to Toleram. But look at the footnotes. What is driving this? And Guinness is telling you that they have increased local production and they are using more local products. In other words, it is the Nigerian farmer that is supplying them sorghum and wheat. So it's cheaper for them to do it rather than going to go and use scarce foreign exchange to import it. That means, Mr. Freedom, that the common man that is a farmer has business he's doing. He's farming and they are buying it and he's making his profits. That is how he's benefiting the common man. You can see it in the numbers because numbers don't lie. And this is across all sectors. It means we are not out of where we are supposed to be, but we are getting somewhere. You cannot tell me that if you see the trajectory of all the oil, Maz, it was on your space yesterday that I reminded you that there is no oil CEO in the world that has not come to Nigeria at least twice in the last 1 year. What do you think they are doing? Look at the numbers of Seplat. Look at the numbers of Owando. Baker Hughes is back in Nigeria. Are they coming to play? Slumberger is back in Nigeria. Are they playing? Look at what Shell is doing in the gas. Look at what Chevron is doing. Do you want to expect results from them tomorrow? No. Would you even see the results in the next 5 years? No. But throughout the campaign season, what we were talking about was, if you interview Obi will tell you, if you interview Atiku, they'll tell you, our oil production is low. For the first time in almost 10 years, Nigeria met its OPEC quota in January. You can go and check it. So that means month on month, we have increased oil production. I'm not making this up. It is out there. That means somebody is employed somewhere. Is that not the common man, Mr. Freedom? That means the government has more revenue. And I believe why Mo was asking you, what state are you from? It's not to abuse you. He probably has numbers and figures of what your state governor is doing. I saw an interview with Hope Uzodinma. Was it last week? He said he now had about 75 billion naira to do roads without borrowing. That's a governor of a state. That will now impact the people of his state. He didn't need to borrow to do that because he now has more money disposable for him. That's why some states like Enugu can wake up in the morning and say, I am increasing minimum wage to 80,000 naira. Because he now has more money to play with. That's why people that have sense, governors like Bago
I can't seem to hear anybody. I will go down. Please bring me back up.
Yeah. Let me to go down and come back. Yeah?
That's why people like Bago can wake up in the morning. Can wake up in the morning and have innovative solutions.
Is it my turn to speak?
It's not your turn. Someone is speaking. Please go down and come back.
That's why somebody like Bago can have innovative solutions and say, okay, by 2026, I am going to be able to feed the entire Nigeria because he believes in his agricultural policies. I don't think Tinubu's economy is political suicide. I think is pain.
Is it from my end?
I cannot
Anyone
hear
see
you
your
again. I cannot
Yeah,
hear
I can. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah, we can hear you. We'll stop here. Yeah.
So I listened to, and I posted it, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi's speech just before the elections, where he was talking about the economy and says any presidential candidate, it's there on my timeline. And I decided that I'll always repost it every 2 weeks now. Any presidential candidate that tells you that it's going to be easy, the person does not know what he's going for. Because you cannot, with the level of debt, with the level of infrastructural decadence, with the level of problems that we have, you need to take hard, rash decisions. I am quoting him. And these decisions, he specified them. And these decisions, we can see them being taken now. There's no miracle. There are no two ways out of it. If you think that it was going to be easy for something that you've been benefiting for 40 years and somebody takes it away from you and you think everybody will just be smiling after it, it's impossible. But I also agree that while you tell people to cut down their costs, you should also be seen to do the same. I agree with that. I agree totally with that. But to always sit down and get happiness and rejoice whenever you see any negative news, you open Twitter spaces and shout everywhere and tell us how the Nigeria, there's no hope in Nigeria, Nigeria economy has collapsed. And then when you now see changes, you turn the other way and look the other way. Then you must have
CBO, did you and your cohort didn't do the same thing to Goodluck Jonathan? Why are you complaining?
So freedom. I was actually going to give you a time after him for
No,
you
it
to
was just a
speak.
question that I asked him now. It's just a question that I asked him. Did they not do the same thing to Goodluck?
Then allow him to land, so you're not going to cut him off, right? It's disrespectful when you're speaking and someone targeted you. Don't you get that? So go ahead, CBO.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm not going to sit down and argue Jonathan or Buhari or PDP and APC with anybody. I will not do so because if you still have this I'm on a vengeance mission, then you are never going to see light at the end of the tunnel. Jonathan is gone and Jonathan is not coming back. Buhari is gone and Buhari is not coming back as president. It's not going to happen. We are looking for a future for ourselves, our children, and our children's children. And we are going to pursue economic policies that are sustainable for the next 40 to 50 years to the next generation. Jonathan had millions of dollars available to him. There was nothing on ground to show for it. There was no road. There were no schools. There was nothing. So I criticized it. If Tinubu does the same, I will criticize it. It is my right. I didn't stop you from doing yours.
What is even this nonsense talk of? Was what you did to Jonathan? Is it not the same thing? The opposition that we did to Jonathan that you're doing to Tinubu? Jonathan tried to explain. We are trying to explain. So what's the problem?
CBU, can I respond to you because you called my name and mentioned some?
No. Tobechuku, not you. Let's allow freedom to speak.
Mazi, he mentioned my name and he mentioned he
When my tongue go reach now.
misconstrued what I.
Mazi,
okay.
When my tongue go reach now, I think.
Yeah. Either what we are going to do is either freedom or limits will speak, right? After two of them speak, after one after maybe freedom or limits speak, then Bashiru will speak. The Bashiru is here before you now. No, they press my neck. No, be every time you came, you go they press my neck. Is it because they wear network? They good. Allow me. Allow me. And therefore, Bosse to January government area. So I didn't know who is going to pick up the mantle to speak. Is it freedom or limit? Okay, let's have limit. No,
Okay, thank
Tochukwu,
you.
allow
Thank you
people
very much.
who has said anything to speak now.
No, but he mentioned my name now. He mis-
Tochukwu, you are going to force me to drop you. Allow people who hasn't said anything on this space to speak. Allow Limit to speak. Limit, please go ahead.
I understand you, Mazi, but he misconstrued what I said. Are you going to
Oh, gosh, shit. Oh, my goodness. Okay, Limit, give him 30 seconds to correct himself. Or go ahead.
please? Thank you very much, Mazi. You know, it's unfortunate when someone I come. Let me just go straight to the point. Now, looking at Anambra State, what happened during the administration of P2B concerning the strike of the doctors that lasted 13 months? What was the issue? Number one, there was a consolidated medical salary structure that was implemented by the federal government. No state, no state implemented more than 50% of that CONMES structure. No state. P2B implemented less than 50%, and the strike was, the doctors were saying then that he is spending money on, refurbishing the hospitals and trying to get them accredited. Meanwhile, there were zero accredited midwifery, nursing and midwifery, this thing, hospitals in Anambra State when P2B became the governor. Zero. But by the time he was leaving, the state had 10 accreditations. And these our salary we are talking about, they were being paid their salary in all those 13 months while they were on strike. 2006, the average salary of a
That's a
doctor.
lie. That is a
Wait, let
lie.
me
That
finish
is a
my
lie.
commission. You
That's
can
a
go and
lie. No.
You see the reason why I didn't want to release this space. I've been trying as much as possible since morning, not to make this space about Peter Obi, because so many people warn me that they are going to in fact, one of my big friends here, I don't want to mention his name, showed me the kind of word he has muted. He has muted Obi, then muted Peter Obi, muted. So I've tried as much as possible not to reduce this conversation. We have overflogged Peter Obi matter now. At least let's give that man a break. We have overflogged Peter Obi. Peter Obi is not the only politician here in Nigeria. Not every time we want to discuss about national issue, Peter Obi this, Peter Obi that will comment. I have tried since morning. I've been here not to reduce this space on Peter Obi versus Tinubu or Lagos versus Anambra State. I've tried, and it is you, Tochukwu. I don't know why you change your name. That Tobechukwu always comes to my mouth. Tochukwu, it is you that bring this thing. And when he brought this issue here, I told you that people are going to respond, and I'm not going to stop them. And you feel like I'm gagging you, all right? And I feel like I'm gagging you, and allowed you to say what you want to say. Now, you want us now to go deep into P2B's conversation. It does not make any sense. P2B is a politician, yeah, but let us give him a break. I mean, that man has been dragged for months now, for weeks here on this app. Can we give him a break? Can we? You people will always set this man up for a drag every time. This convention is not about P2B. We are discussing Tinubu's economy. At least P2B is not in government. It's opposition, yeah. Please give that man a break. He might have chopped a lot of dragging on this app. Maybe that is the reason why he has not said anything for 3 days now. Allow the man to rest. I beg at the beg. Please allow the man to rest. Let's focus on the topic. Please. Let's have limit. I beg you. Limit, please
okay.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear me, Mazi?
Yeah, I can hear you. Limit.
Okay, thank you. It's funny when we have conversations like this.
Mazi, you did not allow me. You did not allow me to land. It's not fair.
I exceed you it as it's okay. We've heard P2B.
It's not
It's
fair,
okay.
Mazi.
Let me make my
Fair.
session. You spoke for almost 10 10, 15 minutes. I
Less
beg.
than, I spoke for less
Calm
than
down.
1 minute in explaining this thing.
Okay.
Na
That the
Tochukwu
salary
dey
in
talk.
Anambra State
Oh,
in
Tobechuku, calm down. You've
2006
spoken before now. You
was
spoke before. Calm down.
100,000.
Let's not carry this
2012,
P2B matter
P2B
up and down.
implemented
Calm down.
60% of
Tobechuku,
that
leave
policy.
P2B out of this stuff.
I
Let me
know, I
speak
know.
now. Haba.
Someone came up and made a
You
wrong
just wait.
assertion,
Let me
and this is a
talk. Let
recorded
me
space.
talk. You've
I have to
posted this
put the
stuff.
record straight. This is a
It
recorded
is
space.
fine. There will be
I
other
have to put the
spaces where you
record
put the
straight.
record straight. Don't worry. Don't worry. We understand.
Just
Don't
give
worry.
me just give me 1 minute limit. I apologize.
hold
Tobechuku,
on, Tochukwu,
abeg.
Tochukwu, hold on. Let this man speak. Don't disrupt the space. Hold on, let him speak. Limit, please go ahead.
So basically, I understand your zeal to defend P2B sometimes, but I beg, calm down. The man said no to defend himself like that. If they don't drag, I know they even defend anybody. So just calm down. It's the same way all these APC people have zeal to defend Tinubu. Tinubu is not even defending
My
himself like
brother
that,
Limit,
self.
at the end
So
of the
calm
day,
down, calm down,
it
calm
was
down,
only
calm down.
Anambra State that implemented 60% of that
I understand.
structure.
Wait, when did you calm down? Let me make my submission. Thank you.
People will come and
Um,
go and check the salary structure. It rose
Chineke
from
God.
100,000 to 250,000. The Ogun State is talking about was from 100.
So, Tochukwu, let me drop you a little
A
bit.
lie. That's another lie. That is another lie.
Bachelor, I have dropped the guy. Let him stay on the listener section a little bit. Calm down, Tochukwu. When you are calm, you will come up. So, Limit, please go ahead.
Okay, I'm keeping the conversation directly to the topic, and instead of moving from one political entity to another, and because the topic is there and it's centered on Tinubu,
Please go ahead.
I'm going to mention Tinubu's name quite a lot, basically. And there's been some
No, go
submissions
ahead,
here.
go ahead. Tinubu is the conversation here. Go ahead.
Exactly, yeah. Thank you. There have been some submissions here that talked about how that Tinubu, I'm going to start from that point before I get into the main point. How that Tinubu bought a private jet and the amount of money he spent in buying a private jet would have no impact on the lives of people. They called a specific amount, $150 million. That's what he used to buy the private jet. Said it has no impact. I think that was one of the previous speakers that said that. That was a bit triggering, right? Because I don't understand whether we just call these numbers and we understand what those figures are and we understand the kind of country we are in, right? In the northeast of Nigeria, within the health sector, no, let me not say no, we have just one functional MRI machine. One. The cost of an MRI machine ranges between 2 to 7 million, depending on the spec. An MRI machine is required in order to diagnose certain ailments. The wait in the North Central, the waiting time for an MRI machine in like a place state like Plateau State is between 3 to 8 months to get on an MRI machine on the waiting list. You have almost less than 100 MRI machines in the country, less than 100, and most of which are not even functioning, right? And then somebody comes up here and says 150 million will have no impact on the lives of Nigerians, even if it is not used to buy a frivolity like a private jet. Do we know the kind of country we are in? You are in a country that has been rated as a poverty capital of the world, right? Where you have almost 100 million people living in poverty. 100 million, not one, 100 million people, and you in your privileged seat will say $150 million would have no impact on the lives of Nigerians. It's too small. Oh, the amount of money they are sharing, giving borrow the change or selling during borrow the change is almost a little bit more than that or less than that. You're in a country where you have the highest level of out of school children in the world. And there has been no deliberate government policy geared towards that as a matter of urgency. If somebody says 150 million, do you know how many schools it will build? Do you know how many MRI machines it will buy? Do you know how many CT scans it would buy? Do you know how much it is to construct a standard hospital in the country? To stop this, your president that you're coming here to defend from traveling abroad for his health concerns. It says 150 million will not do anything. See, I understand the zeal to defend your president, but making absolute statements like this in this country, in the kind of nation we have, is somehow, it says a lot about your sensitivity as a person, to be honest. Secondly, on Tinubu's economy, whether it's smart Spain or political suicide, there are quite a bit of his policies that I would say has worked fine or are okay, but a lot of which I would say have has thrown the country in a perilous state, right? There has been people who have come here to talk about how many companies are making um, billions of naira in profits. But how has that translated into the lives of ordinary Nigerians in the streets, right? Um, Inflation is still record high. It's not coming down. It's still record high. Sometimes we would see how its price of commodities are reducing in the market, but what is the comparative factor that we're using to just oppose this, right? Are you comparing it to what it was before Tinubu got into power or what it was after he got into power, right? So you say price of spaghetti, for example, was 500 last year and now it is 200. But what was it before Tinubu got into power? Was it 100? And you see, so you have to make relative arguments. Right? Same thing when they say the economy is increasing. There was a significant dip in the economy when Tinubu got into power the first year. So when it is increasing by 3%, you would say, okay, vis-a-vis what? What are you comparing it to? Are you comparing to what it was, the GDP in 2015, the GDP in 2014, and what the GDP is now, right? So it has to be relative to a specific standard. Same thing with the interest rates. You cannot, there is no deliberate policy for small and medium scale enterprises in the country to be able to flourish, given the fact that these are potentially going to be the biggest employers of labor within this country. There has been no deliberate policy to help multitudes of industries or multitudes of these industries to scale up and be staying afloat within the country. The interest rate is quite high. If a small or middle scale enterprise goes to take a loan in a bank at an interest rate of 20 something percent, how do you expect the business to break even and to even repay the loan at the end of the day? So you're seeing a lot of businesses not able to stay afloat, especially the small and medium scale enterprises. You're seeing some of them folding up, and that is driving the unemployment rates. I've noted that they have changed the parameter in which they are calculating unemployment rate within the country, which is quite laughable again. That's why I said this government sometimes is the government of propaganda by propaganda. The, their, their parameters of measuring stuff is quite funny sometimes. So yeah, the hardship is biting within the country at the moment. Inflation is at a record high. Um, um, Similarly, unemployment is at a record high. Um, there are few businesses that are recording profits, which is okay. In whatever situation a country find itself in, there will be businesses that will record profit. Not 100% of the businesses would go under. It doesn't happen. Even when there was a crash in the US economy, when the banks were shutting down and the housing market was in crisis, there were companies that were also sectors within that country that was also doing fine, right? During the financial meltdown. So same thing. If there's a recession, there will still be companies that will record profits. But then that doesn't negate the fact that a lot of companies are struggling to stay afloat, especially some of those companies that are going to be potentially the biggest employers of labor within the country, small and medium scale enterprises, right? Um, Thirdly, or fourthly, there has been no deliberate policy that we've seen, right, by this government on in the sphere of agriculture or on the agricultural revolution. And then finally, there is none and security. When Tinubu was asked about his plan for security, he talked about recruiting 50 million youths into the army and the police. What would he feed them? He said he was going to feed them corn, cassava, and whatever. But I have not seen that policy happen yet. I've not seen this massive recruitment of people into security networks to be able to combat insecurity. And the consequence of that is that if you're able to employ people in that mass number, you're going to also reduce the unemployment rate. You're going to, there's a lot of things, consequences that will come out of that. But that policy hasn't happened, and insecurity is still ravaging the country as we speak. In Ondo State, there were people protesting about insecurity. In Enugu State, people are protesting. In Plateau State, people are protesting. And there is this disconnect between the government and the people, as though they are not being touched by the pains of the people. They are releasing statements from their golden palaces or from abroad when they go on holidays. And there is no deliberate urgency towards combating the things that worry Nigerians. You see, they are very deliberate in combating things that worry them, right? When the rivers crisis or political brouhaha was getting heated, they were very decisive about that, about issuing a state of emergency, about suspending the governor, right? Very deliberate about stuff like this. When the president needed a private jet, he was very deliberate about it. There were some times that they even had to get supplementary budgets to finance some things that they were very deliberate about. Um, when they wanted to renovate the vice presidential lodge, they were very deliberate about it. Money came out of wherever it came out from, and they did that. Now they're about to spend money on the electrification of the presidential villa. They are very deliberate about it. The money will come out, obviously. But how deliberate are they about the things that touch normal Nigerians? Where's the urgency in approach regarding things that touch normal Nigerians? Right? It's just the same sluggish attempts towards improving the lives of people. And people want us to be grateful. People want us to come and sing kumbaya and clap for them that, oh, you've done well. Like, it's quite funny, right? When government is not doing well, we have to stand up and say, you are not doing, even when they are 100% doing well, you still have to find things where they are not working 100% and say, this is where you're supposed to improve on. America that we sing about today, that is fabulous. UK that we sing about today, that is a great country. They have opposition that are hitting the head of the government every blessed day and saying, hey, this thing is not working. This thing is not working. Fix it. These are countries that don't even have problem with power, electricity. They don't have problem per se, import problem per se, import with pipe-borne water. They don't have problem as touching education, right? They've seemed to fix stuff like that, basic things within their own sphere. They still have opposition that calls the government to order and are very loud. But when opposition here is loud, people are saying, oh, keep quiet, embarrassing the government. Why are you saying these things? You want to blackmail people into a one-party state of rank a day. You're doing well. That's psychophancy, and it makes no sense. And the kind of policing of criticism is also very laughable. They say, oh, don't criticize like this, criticize this other way, as though there is a term called good criticism. You can criticize the government anyhow you want to criticize it. And I will speak on the last point. One of the biggest drivers of an economy or of productivity is electricity. I have not seen the government's attempt towards improving the drastic improvement in the electricity generation, transmission within the country, right? Somebody will come and say, oh, they have decentralized electricity generation. Therefore, go and hold your government accountable, your state governors accountable. But you have a minister of power. You have all these
Okay,
other
okay. Let me
parastatals within.
can you help
Now,
us round up
finally,
here?
I'll wrap up finally. All these parastatals, federal parastatals to deal with all these issues, what have they done? What is the government's roadmap towards fixing electricity within the country? right? The same way he was very zealous in removing subsidy and always happy, not happy, but let me say very excited, telling Nigerians, oh, you will suffer. You will suffer for a little bit. I feel your suffering. I feel your suffering. The way he's excited about doing those things, how he's not excited about creating a bullet roadmap towards urgently fixing the power sector in the country, right? The same way he's always eager, saying, oh, I feel your pain, you're suffering. It's a sweet suffer. It's just a pinch. Why is not deliberate about also suffering with us, right? Since we're passing through a phase, why is he not showing that he's passing through that same phase with us, right? He still has all his allowances in check. He still has all his private jets in check. He still has the ship that he said he's going to buy in check. He still has like everything is in check. Nothing has reduced for the man, right? But he's saying for the common citizen that is just getting few things from the government, oh, we should feel the pain while they get the gain. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So the economy is political suicide. It's not a smart pain, because if it was a smart pain, the politicians will also want to feel that smart pain with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Limit. Let's have Basho. Basho, go ahead.
Thank you. I greet everybody. I heard the last caller talks about MRI machine. Unfortunately, his state government is so useless that they do not have any in the hospital. So I just want to inform my dear brother that we have an MRI machine in um, reference hospital Okene. The hospital was built and equipped by Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State. So Kogi is very close, to Plateau. Just in case, I mean, you can spread the good news, pending when your government would be useful to consider the lives of each citizen. Yaya Bello did not wait for Tinubu, to come and allocate funds for Kogi State government before he built, that um, world class hospital that has now been for neighboring states like Ekiti, Ondo, Oshun, another. So Plateau State can also take advantage. I mean, being a fellow North Central state, I just said I should use the opportunity to also, to inform you just in case, you have anyone that might be in need of the service. Since you have an unfortunate government in Plateau State that is waiting for the federal government to come and buy them MRI machine before they could take care of the health of the citizen of the state. Having said that, I've heard enough. I came on while Kineke was speaking. I was actually on transit. I was driving back home from the office, and then I was just laughing. When he was making his submission. Unfortunately, before I could join. I could request the mic. When I got home, he had already left the space. I always tell people this: the way you think that governors exist in your head, is not how it is. Very far from the reality. And sometimes when I listen to the so-called, former civil servants, when they speak, oh, I work in foreign affairs before, I work in Ministry of Education, I work in National Assembly. And when I hear them regurgitate, some nonsense, and it gives you, I mean, for me, I don't even need to dig further that these are incompetent, people that at the end of the day, they were incompetent, to carry out their responsibility in the office. It's either they were either, they were sacked, they were dismissed from the service, due to lack of understanding of how, the system works, or they are just nothing but liability. Most of them also used, this same, position to also, as a basis, to apply for whatever, documentation or application they have to jack out of the country. So when they get to, their so-called greener pasture. They suddenly have all of the solution, and then some of them, they left the service over 15, 20 years ago. And when you still hear them speaking about, the same organization and establishment, in 2025, he act with such ignorance and confidence, when somebody is spewing trash, and he's so confidently, spewing it without even, and it's really unfortunate. It's also unfortunate that Keneke is no longer on this space. Since he said he worked in foreign affairs, I would have loved to engage him, so I will educate and inform him that a lot of things has changed. The ministry is no longer how it used to be. And then when he said he also works at Ministry of Education, he said there's a department called tertiary, education department. They can handle, the nail fund. They must not, employ, create a new agency. I was going to ask him, how he arrived at that conclusion, to give me data of when the federal government of Nigeria actually employ and recruit new staff for the Nelfon office, because to the best of my knowledge, it is also the staff of the Federal Ministry of Education, the same department that I mentioned, partly, that were also moved to the new agency, the Nelfond, the student loan program. So apart from the executive secretary of the commission of Nel Fund, and I think the other two political appointees, everyone at Nel Fund are all civil servants, and no single one of them was employed in 2024. They have been part and parcel of the system. So when he talks of managing fund, I was going to ask him, can he please show us the data of any budgetary allocation that is outside of, that is completely different, a different salary structure for Nelfon staff that is different from the one for Federal Ministry of Education. Just like we have, the Ministry for Blue Economy and